Hello friends, today we will discuss what is a minimal API and how to create it in ASP.NET Core. Let's start with what is a minimal API in ASP.NET Core. The minimal API concept is presented as an alternative to ASP.NET Core controller for defining an API with as few dependencies as possible. With minimal API, developers can create an API using only a single file, without the need for controllers, action methods, or dependency injection. It uses a convention-based approach to map HTTP requests to methods, reducing the need for explicit configuration. It's particularly well suited for small and medium-sized APIs or for building a prototype and proof of concept quickly. It looks similar to Node.js API. Here we have an example of Node.js API. Do note this highlighted syntax used for the GET API endpoint. Now we can utilize a similar syntax in our ASP.NET Core API. Now we will move forward with the second point, how to create a minimal API in ASP.NET Core. To create ASP.NET API, first we will open a Visual Studio, and in this Visual Studio we will click on Create a New Project. Then we need to select template ASP.NET Core empty template. Then again click on Next button, and I am giving the project name as a minimal API example. Then again click on Next. Then finally click on Create. Here you can see minimal API project is ready for us without any controller, folder and files. And we will go into the program.cs file, and in this file one default API endpoint is available for us. This API endpoint is returning a hello world string. And for more understanding, I will create employee API endpoint. It is returning employee list. And for employee API endpoint, I need to create employee model. I already created that model inside my project, and inside this model I have taken two property ID and name. Now again we will go in the program.cs file to create employee API endpoint app.mapget. This is API endpoint pattern. Using it, we can access this API endpoint, and whatever we required in the API response, we need to return from this function. So I will add code to return employee list. For that, I already have a code I am pasting here. Now we will run the API and check how to access it. Here you can see this is the default API response, and this is the employee API response. Today we have learned minimal API. If you want a video on CRUD operation with minimal API, please comment below and subscribe for notification.